I've never had to do this before, but I just recorded, I think probably like 20 minutes of an episode, and then I had to restart. May is a particularly difficult month. It's just an odd month for me, mainly because May 18th, 2018 is when my ex-boyfriend Shane passed away in a motorcycle accident. And I didn't want to talk about this on the podcast. I've gone back and forth so many times with wanting to talk about it, but I just don't want to be disrespectful to him, and I don't want to be disrespectful to his memory. But then I was like, I don't have anything bad to say about him, so I don't know what the fuck I'm so worried about. Honestly, I only have good things to say about him. If it wasn't for him, I don't even know where the fuck I would be. I was in such a bad place in my life when I met him. And he just made life colorful again. He made me believe in like a second chance at life. I thought I was just rotten, spoiled goods. And he made me realize that I wasn't. I feel like he picked me up out of a trash can and he dusted me off, and he quite literally just brought me to his house and said, we're going to wash you up and we're going to fix you up and we're going to throw you back into life. And that's like what he did. And so I've tried really hard not to talk about him on this podcast, and I feel like I would just be lying if I didn't put this part of my life about him in here, because I've been thinking about him so much, and he has been in my dreams, and I think about him so fucking often. I recently bought a motorcycle, and I think that's probably also why he's in my dreams all the time now. I don't know what he's trying to tell me, because I feel like when I'm in the dream, my dreams are so vivid and I can speak to him, and he doesn't always talk back to me. But then when I wake up, it's like I can't remember anything. So I'm like, what the fuck are the point of these dreams? I don't even remember what's going on. After my other relationship, he was exactly what I needed at that moment. He was such a great person. He had so many great characteristics. Like, was he a pain in the ass? Absolutely. But there were so many great things about him. He loved life. He would fucking wake up every single morning and like literally jump out of bed. So happy. He would seize every single day. Every single day for him was like a new opportunity to just do fun things and like play and have a great time. And when I say play, I mean play. He was like a child in the best possible way. All the ways that I wish adults still were, because that's how we are when we're little, and then we grow up and that kind of just gets stripped away from us at some point. But it didn't get stripped away from Shane. And no matter what people said about him, or no matter how people, spoke about him or thought that he lived his life in a specific way, like, he didn't care. He just had such a good time all the time. And I've joked about the fact that I have a motorcycle and that it's going to unlock a new character. And I think that it really does. I think getting on a motorcycle does unlock a new personality in you, one that is fearless and seeks adventure and doesn't necessarily want to follow like all the rules perfectly, because why do we need to follow all of these rules? Like, who made these rules? I just wish that I could have a conversation with him. I wish that I could tell him about all the things that he's missed out on in these last 7 years. And I wish that I could see what he looks like now, grown up. And I know that when he passed away, we weren't dating, but he was still a very important person in my life. Because without Shane, I don't know where I would have ended up. He really brought me into his family, and he showed me a whole different way of life. It was really like from one opposite end to the other. I was just so far in a dark place, and he just made everything feel so colorful. And so even though I said I didn't want to talk about him, I think it's not fair for me not to talk about him because he was such a big part of my life, and he clearly still is, because I have dreams about him and I talk to him and I still think about him. And I think somebody really only truly dies when you stop thinking and talking about them. And so if I could play even just a small role in keeping his memory alive, of talking about him and letting you know the type of person that he was, then I feel like that's just keeping him alive even just a little bit. Even before Shane passed away, May was always a month that reminded me of him because it's also his birth month. He was born May 31st. Motorcycles have always fascinated me because I love and I hate them. I think they're so cool and I think people look so cool on them, but the idea that they're so dangerous and the idea that it's so easy to have an accident just scares the living shit out of me. And I feel like it doesn't fit in my life with the rules that I've created and the way that I have organized my life in a way to stay on track with things. And so that's why I feel like maybe the motorcycle is a perfect addition to my life to allow me to step outside the box and start living again, because my childhood was so all over the place. And then as I grew up and I started my business, I realized that I had to not be myself in order to be able to have a business. The Bianca that I was for real was not a business person and was not somebody who would have been able to keep a business alive for 10 fucking years. And so I had to put a lot of my things aside and I had to give up a lot of things and a lot of people and a lot of nights out and a lot of everything in order to get to where I am now. And I feel like now that I've had a business for 10 years that is successful, we've just opened another business. And for those of you who also don't know, Stefano, my partner, lost his brother on a motorcycle as well. And so both of us have a very love-hate relationship with motorcycles. But I feel like, similar to what I'm going to talk about in this episode, avoiding the motorcycle and just, not getting one and not ever getting on one, I don't think is going to help anybody. And I don't think is ever going to fix that hole that you feel, or replace that person that you lost. Just because I don't get on a motorcycle doesn't mean that anybody's ever going to come back. I think when you're hurt by something, it's really easy to become a person who avoids things so that you're not hurt further. But then you're really just not living and you're not growing and you're not healing. You're just lying to yourself. You're just pretending. And so there comes a point in your life where you need to stop fucking pretending and you need to face the truth. A loss like that really rewires you, and it really flipped a switch for me. And so I hope that I could offer you, without having to make you lose anything or anybody, I hope that everything that I'm about to say will also flip a switch for you.
Here I am, just trying to be myself. It's a crazy world, looking to find my place, and all they do is la 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 la.
Although it may not be extremely obvious now, especially if you know me, I guess it really depends at what part in my life that you knew me in. I was really a yes girl. And I was always kind of tough, but I was very much a yes girl. And by a yes girl, I mean I definitely allowed people to walk all over me. Let that be family, friends, coworkers, clients, just pretty much anything. I think being filled with so much abandonment issues and just like trauma as a kid, I was always so afraid to say something that would potentially piss somebody off, or I don't know, just like be a burden to people that I wanted people to stay around, even if sometimes they were not the correct people, even if they were people that I didn't even like or that were not even realistically good for me, because I was afraid to be alone and I was so scared of my own presence. I was avoiding my own presence, okay? Not even realizing that I'm actually so fucking cool. But I never knew that because I never took 5 minutes to just get to know myself. And I cannot be alone in this. Don't tell me that at some point in your life, you have not been afraid of your own presence or of being alone or feeling like you needed to be around certain people that in reality you actually didn't fucking need at all. I always had this constant like thing that I felt like I always needed to settle things, you know, arguments, like whatever it could have been. I always wanted to make things okay with people, even if it wasn't necessarily me who did something or caused some type of problem. I just wanted things to always be settled. I was just always afraid to speak up, you know, like whether it was with friends who I felt were taking advantage of me or who were making like little digs at me. I would just pretend that I didn't care, or whether it was clients who I felt were overstepping their boundaries and were taking way more advantage of me because I was a new business, and I kept thinking to myself, like, I don't deserve this company. Like, I'm new and I should have to be in the mud and I have to go through the mud in order to get up higher. And I guess that means taking shit and allowing people to treat you badly and allowing people to tell you what you're worth and how much you're worth. With relationships, allowing guys to step all over me and treat me like absolute shit, cheat on me. I didn't understand my worth, and I was so afraid to just be by myself and speak up for what I thought was right or wrong that I thought I was keeping the peace, but I was actually just silencing myself. And then I think there comes a moment where you are so full of everything, right? So when you are a yes person, eventually you may think that you are someone who is just, you know, non-confrontational. But at a certain point, this will all catch up to you, right? So if you are a yes girl, eventually, right? Let's take an example. If you're a yes girl to your friends, you are always the friend who maybe listens to everybody and never takes a second to tell your emotions to people because they're too busy filling you with their own emotions. But you don't want to be that friend to say, hey, hold on a second. I feel like this is not a two-way street. I feel like all we do is talk about you and we never talk about me. So you don't say that. You stay quiet and you just take and you take and you take and you take. And then you go to work. And your coworkers, instead of, I don't know, taking your shifts, just constantly keep giving you their shifts. They'll never take your shifts if you ask because they have every excuse under the sun, and they fill you with work and you are too afraid to say no because you're like, well, if maybe one day I need them to take a shift back for me, even though you've proven to yourself most probably that they're not going to take this shift from you. You keep saying yes, 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 yes because you are a yes girl, right? Or if you have a business, you have clients who constantly overstep their boundaries, give you a project where you've created a price for this project that they've given you. But for some reason, this client, every single time, after the invoice has been sent, they want to add extra deliverables that were not in the original invoice that they had asked you for, but they never want, they can never go higher in price, but they always will ask you for more favors. And because this is, maybe a good client or a client who's been around with you for some time, you don't want to lose them. And so you shut up and you just take it and you add these extra deliverables and you do not charge them more because you do not know what your worth is. And then you go home to your relationship where you do everything in your relationship and your partner doesn't pick up the slack, and you don't want to ask your partner to pick up the slack because you know that they're also tired. Maybe they've had a long day of work. Maybe you know that they have their own things that they're dealing with and you don't want to bother them because God forbid you bother them. You wouldn't want them to leave you, right? And so basically your entire fucking life is just people pleasing. All you're doing is just helping other people and you're never helping yourself. How long can that possibly go on for? Be serious. Think about it. Be fucking for real. How long could that actually go on for? Not that long, until you fucking explode. Until one day you're just gonna fucking flip tables because you're not gonna be able to take it anymore. And then what happens? Everything changes. But again, one extreme to the other. You were just on the extreme side of saying yes, 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 yes. You were a yes girl. And then all of a sudden, you become a no girl. Everything is no. Everything is no. Even things that you could potentially say yes to, you just fucking say no because you are so full. You are so full of the yeses that there is just no more fucking room even for the things that you want to do. So then what happens? You start becoming an avoidant. You start saying fucking no to everything. And I see this all the time on TikTok. Oh my God. Every time I could scroll on TikTok, out of 10 videos, I will find at least like 6 where it's like a girl saying how I set my boundaries. And it's like, babe, these are not boundaries. Who the fuck hurt you? Somebody hurt you deeply because you are in so much pain that you think that these are like healthy boundaries that you have set for yourself, when really you are just completely limiting yourself to the opposite end of the one that you were before, right? So you're just avoiding everything. You're just saying no to absolutely everything in your life. And I'm not saying that it's wrong, because listen, after you are such a fucking yes person, it's normal that you're going to want to be a no person. But it depends on how long you stay in the no section for. You have to slowly migrate to the middle, where you start to value your options and you start to kind of balance things out. Is it worth saying yes to this? Is it worth saying no to this? But then there's also the option of like, I don't know, sometimes sometimes I'll be talking to my friend and they'll be like, I have to do X, Y, and Z, but I really don't want to go. And it's like, okay, so then don't. If you don't want to go, don't. Like, that is more than enough of an excuse. If you're just fucking tired, like, there's some days I work so much. Some days I will get invited to things where I don't work. I can fully say, oh no, I have an event that day, but I don't. I just say, I'm fucking tired. I'm tired. It's like my one day off. I'm tired and I don't want to do anything. I have plans with my bed to just watch television and spend time with myself. That is a valid excuse. You don't need to go explain to anybody. You don't need to explain to anybody that what you're doing is valid enough to say no to an invite. Not because I don't like you. I could fucking love you, but maybe I'm just tired and I don't want to go. That was like, for example, my parents. I think I had such a like weird relationship with my parents for so long that, you know, then when they started wanting to kind of hang out with me, I felt like I had to always hang out with them if they asked me, because like, oh my God, God forbid, then they stop asking me to hang out with them, which is like fucking stupid. But now it's like sometimes my dad will ask me to go over and I'm like, I'd love to see you, but I'm fucking tired. I had a long ass day at work and I just want to take a nap. So I'm going to take a nap and I'm not going to feel guilty about it. And it doesn't mean I don't love you. And it doesn't mean that because I'm saying no, should be afraid that you're going to abandon me as a child. No, I'm just tired. And I find that that's also given the opportunity to my parents to also say no when they don't want to hang out with me because they're tired also. Do I get offended still? I mean, yeah, sometimes, but I'm the child, so I think I'm allowed. Have you ever felt like you were too much of a yes person or too much of a no person? Have you, I don't know, gone through a situation similar as this where you just kind of felt like so strongly toward one side or the other? Because I feel like with time, listen, it definitely took me longer than I wish it would have, but with time I started to realize that like true peace was understanding who deserved my softness and who did not deserve my softness. Because then for a bit it was kind of like, I don't know, a little bit all over the place. But I find that when you also get into this phase, you get into, I talked about this on another episode. It was called the awareness paradox, you know, where everything starts becoming like really obvious to you. And by that, I mean, you know, that girl who comes up to you and says that she like loves your hair and she's so sweet and blah, 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 and everybody loves, you're looking at her and you're like, you're full of fucking shit. And I know that you're full of fucking shit. And I don't really have all the proof that I need to convince other people that you're full of shit. I mean, not that I'm trying to, but when other people are trying to convince me that you are not full of shit, I know deep in my soul that you are. And I'm also smart enough to know that I need to just shut up, because in due time, your true colors will shine through, because they always do. And I just want to touch on something like really quick. I had talked about in like other episodes about this friend group that quite literally fucking traumatized me out of wanting friends in general. And I've recently come to find out that I guess everyone in that group realized that one of the people that I had problems with in that group was just fucking so full of shit. And I don't know, it just makes me giggle, because I feel like they thought I was the problem. And I think now they're realizing who the actual problem in that group was. And so, I don't know, it just made me laugh for a second. I think when you get to that part in your life where you have always been a yes person and then you switch over to the no, and you just become so like hyper aware to people and to things and to micro expressions and body language, you know, you stop needing the same type of communication that you needed before, in the sense of like, now when I ask someone a question, you don't even necessarily need to give me an answer. I can already tell based off of your body language and based off of just like, you know, everything that you're doing while I'm asking you, and even after I've asked you, has already most probably given me the answer that I need. If you're not really good at hiding it, right? Because then there's also people who I feel like fucking study the art of fucking manipulation, and they're just so full of shit that their entire characters are like fully false. But even at that, I can clock that so fucking easily. And as much as I love this about myself, because I feel like I've become so good at like not even being delusional anymore, you know, because like I feel like sometimes it's so easy to be like, oh, like I really hope I get that job, or I really hope this guy likes me, or like, you know, one of those situations. But it's like, you don't have that anymore after you get into this phase, because you know if you're getting that job, you know if that guy likes you. It's not even a question that you have to go debate with people. It's you just, you know, you already know it, and you waste so much less time pondering and like overthinking these situations. Like those are not the things that I find myself overthinking anymore at all. I already know the answer to things. I'm so much more calm when it comes to stuff. Like I don't have to wonder if I'm, you know, if I'm getting that client at all. I know if I'm getting that client or not. I know based off of so many little things, even before I have a meeting with that client, if that client is going to be choosing me. I know when I'm talking to certain friends, if they're telling me the truth. And this is another thing. I always, like before, when I would find that, you know, a specific friend or friends or whatever were lying to me about certain things, I would get so offended, like as if it was all about me. And when you start to realize that when people lie and exaggerate about things, it literally has fucking nothing to do with you at all. It has everything to do with how they feel about themselves. You actually just start not being offended. You kind of feel bad for them, because you're like, do you think that low of yourself that you feel that you have to lie to me? You know, or that you have to lie about yourself to other people? And when you get into this, you know, a lot of the awareness paradox, oh my God, life is just so much more simple, even though life is also so much more ugly, because things that before you could have pretended, like the things you could have faked, you can't really fake those things anymore, because like now everything is just so fucking obvious to you that it's hard to live in that like la la land fantasy world, because everything is just very yes or no. It's extremely obvious. And then if you hang out with people who are like not at that same awareness level as you, you just see them as like, where the fuck are you living? Wake up. La, 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 la. The last couple days have been so incredibly hectic. I feel like I work just to afford these pick-me-up drinks. And I'm pretty sure they're just made with like rotten fucking fruit. So I know this episode was like a little bit all over the place, but I really have made it I've made a promise to myself that I'm going to be consistent with my posting, even if, you know, every single week I don't have so many topics that I want to talk about. I always have shit that I want to talk about. There's so much going on in my mind. I just feel like right now I'm at a phase in my life where I'm so relaxed. And like, who would have ever thought that I would say something like that? I'm so extra relaxed. I'm just like loving work. I'm loving everything. I'm thinking about buying the house that I live in, which I know sounds a little odd, but like I'll get more into that later. I just feel like maybe I should throw it out into the world for like manifestation. But I'm really happy with everything. I really can't complain. I feel like I'm in a part of my life where I'm really satisfied. I'm just ready for like the next step. And by the next step, I don't mean like kids and marriage, because that's not going to be for a while. I'm excited for the birth of a new business, because I feel like this is really it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of work, but I'm ready for it. And summer's also coming, so I feel like this is gonna be so nice. We're in the process of either exchanging our boat for a different boat, or I don't know, Stefano wants to get a different boat for some reason. And I was like, you know what? Like the other day he was talking about like the Sea-Doo that he wanted to get, changing the boat. Like we just got a motorcycle. He wants to change cars. And at first I was like, oh my God, this is so fucking much. But then I was like, what's the point of life? What is the point of life? Like you see sometimes those like old, like the other day we were driving and we saw this man. I think he looked like a 70-year-old man in a convertible. And it was fucking cold outside, right? And Stefano was like, you know, he must have worked his whole entire life. So now, even though it's fucking cold, he's like, I'm going to drive this convertible. I don't want to be that man. I want to drive the convertible now. I want to drive my motorcycle now. I want to go on my boat on a fucking Wednesday. I want to go fucking sea-doing on a Tuesday. I want to live my fucking life. What's the point of like saving all this fucking money to just enjoy it like later on in life? Like I feel like people are always telling me like, oh, why don't you save more? I do save, but I'm also like not saving for the fucking apocalypse. Okay. And Shane, before he died, he told me that he paid off all his credit cards. And then what happened? He died. Okay. So what good did that do for anybody? What good did it do that he paid off his credit cards? I mean, beside the fact that like, if you don't pay off your credit cards and you have kids or family or whatever, like it gets passed on to them, which fucking sucks. But what, like, all the bank did was get their money back, but like he was just about to start living. I truly believe he was just about to start living his life. He was just starting to travel. He was just starting to enjoy his life properly, because for the longest time he was afraid to travel. All the times I asked him to come to Italy, he was too scared to get on a plane. And I have those messages. I have the messages of him saying, I was so fucking stupid that I didn't come to Italy when you asked me to, because I was too scared to get on an airplane, because his dad was scared to get on an airplane. And so he just assumed that he was also afraid. They would both always say that they only would go places that they could drive to. And like, let's be honest, I don't know how many places that is. Sometimes when Stefano says all of these things, like, I'm just like, oh my God, this is so much. Like, can you like chill out for a fucking second? But the truth is, isn't this what life's about? When are we supposed to do this? When we're old? When we're old and have kids? I feel like now is the time to have fun. Now is the time to get all this stuff out of our system and just have the time of our lives. I want to continue traveling and I want to spend money doing dumb shit, buying fucking small little juice things that cost an unreasonable amount of money and an unjustifiable amount of money, because I think that it wakes me up. And you know what? Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but I love them and I love buying them because they make me feel like I'm healthy. And so if that is how I choose to live my life and you don't choose to live your life this way, well, to each their own. All I'm trying to do is be happy. I want to be happy and I want Stefano to be happy and I want my fucking cat to be happy. My parents and my sister also. But I mean, for the first time in my life, I'm just really focusing on myself and I'm not putting other people's happiness in front of me, and I'm not allowing people to make me feel a specific way. Am I completely like in the middle area of the, you know, the spectrum that we were talking about, the yes and the no? I think I'm still probably a little bit closer to the no, because I still feel like I'm constantly tested. Like recently I met with somebody who I'm supposed to be doing a project with, and I just found that this person was like taking a little bit of advantage of my kindness. Like in multiple times in our conversation, I just felt like I was not getting, like, it's not that this person said anything or like did anything specifically that was rude or disrespectful to me. It's just, I felt that there was like something that was not fully genuine from this person. And I've started to realize that when I feel those things, that I just need to listen to my gut and I don't fucking need to explain it to anybody else. Even though Stefano says like, don't always go based off your vibes, because it's true. Sometimes my vibes are like fucking just not, I'm not going to say off, but like sometimes somebody reminds me of somebody else. And so I will automatically sometimes assume that just because this person made me feel this way, that this person will also make me feel this way. And I might not always give them a chance, but I think that's like the trauma talking. So I'm not 100% for that, but slowly, I think I'm starting to get better. And more importantly, I'm learning to like speak up for myself. So if I have a feeling about something or I feel a certain way about somebody and I feel like maybe they're taking advantage, I'm just going to call them out on it and see how you respond. Because if we're able to like hash it out or have a mature conversation about it where, I don't know, maybe I'm misunderstanding or maybe you're coming off, you know, a little bit however you're coming off. Like, I also don't know where you're coming from. I also don't know how you're feeling. I also don't know, your traumas. I don't know what you've gone through in your life. You don't know what I've gone through in my life. So I think just being like more vocal in my life in general has really made a big difference. And I want to continue to do that. And I think you should continue doing that also. If you feel like you are somebody who is so much of a yes person or so much of a no person, and you're trying to find that middle ground, just speak up for yourself, because who the fuck else is going to speak up for you? So if you're listening to this and you've made it this far, thank you. I appreciate it. If you're somebody who feels like you're in your cold era, I get it. I feel like the easiest thing is to allow the world to make you stone cold. And that would be a fucking shame, because that is what happens to so many people. It's not healing, it's hiding. It's not setting boundaries, it's just being scared. If you want to heal, and if you want to learn how to set healthy boundaries for yourself, and if you want people to respect you instead of, just be scared of you because you're the person who just like is crazy and screams, I think that you have a long way of healing to go. And there's really only one way to do that. And it's just being honest with yourself. And it's having moments where you ask yourself things and you reflect on certain situations and why someone said something to you, why it made you feel a certain way, or why you feel like you want to avoid something instead of confront it, why you feel scared about certain situations, or why if somebody you feel is disrespecting you or taking advantage of you, you feel like you don't want to speak up. Like, dig deeper into why you feel these things, because if you do, a lot of the time you'll get your answers. It's not that difficult. It's not like some secret thing that you don't have the answers to. You have the answers. It's literally you are the one who has them. And most importantly, if you see people around you who are also struggling with something like this, try to help them out too. I feel like the world would just be a better place if we were all more honest and upfront with each other. And I think that's also something that I'm really learning to appreciate. I feel like I've really built a good group of friends around me that, although are a little bit everywhere in the world, are people that I can finally just be honest and happy with. And like, we can make fun of each other, and I know that they love me, and I know that it's not like little jabs or like little jealous jabs that they're making. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful to have friendships where you can be honest with each other and you can love each other even though you're not perfect and you have flaws. And even if you don't show up as your best self every single day, it's nice. It's nice to have that. And I hope that you have that. And I hope that if you don't have that, that you will have that. But the only person who can help you get that is you. Thank you for listening. As always, I love you if you've made it up to here. If you didn't make it up to here and you only listened to a few parts of this episode, well, I still love you. If this is the first time that you listened to an episode, did you like it? I hope you liked it. I would love if you sent me a message on Instagram, on TikTok. I recently posted a TikTok basically saying like, I'm here to find my community. And I'm so excited to like start my community because I'm like starting my merch and this and that. And this girl literally wrote me and she's like, with 60 followers? Yeah, I don't think so. You have no aura at all. And I was like, that's so fucking mean, bitch. But anyways, so I really want to show this bitch. I want to show this bitch like, yeah, you're right. I do have 66 followers on TikTok because it's a brand new TikTok. But you know what? We all got to start somewhere. And so hopefully in a couple months from now, it'll be 666,000. And then I could tell her to go suck a dick. So help me get there because nothing fuels me more than mean girls like that. Don't forget to like, comment, share, follow, rate the podcast. I would love if you would rate the podcast also. And just anybody who just engages with our content on socials. I don't regret doing this podcast. I fucking love this podcast. I love coming here every single week and talking to you, to myself, to anybody who's going to listen. And I have high expectations for this podcast. And I hope that you do too. And I hope when merch comes out, you're going to buy it. I'm still thinking about the slogans. I have a lot of ideas, but my little rough drafts. Thank you for listening. I love you guys so much. Have a great night. I forgot to mention, you're listening to Barely Edited, and I am your host, Bianca Venna. Bye.
Mirror, mirror, tell me, what is it about them living like it's their game. Karma said it better than me, you'll just end up losing.